I hereby call to order this meeting of the Arizona Boxing and Mixed Martial Arts Commission. Today is Wednesday, February 23rd, 2022, and the time is 11:02 a.m. Would those commissioners that are in attendance please identify themselves and state as to whether they're here via phone or Google Meets or in person?
This is Eric Feinstein. I'm here via Google Meets.
I am Scott Fletcher. I'm here via telephone. Is Commissioner Pennington still with us?
I think he's muted.
Ah, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. We can press on, and when he comes back in, we can circle back to the roll call and get him on board. B is our new business. B1 is pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. The renewal license application submitted by Mr. Chad Davis for a 2022 professional boxing athlete's license. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to this application, please?
Sir, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chad Davis is no stranger to our licensing process now. Happy to have him back. He said he's been training hard. His record 6-15-0. Current weight it's at 238. His fight weight, obviously, he's fighting at heavyweight. I believe Mr. Davis elaborated that his training regimen has changed a lot since his last coaching team. He's then changed teams and says he's been getting a lot of sparring, swimming, running, and anything that has to do with boxing, body weight exercises and all. When asked how he felt about his upcoming bout, he said he feels great, excited, and he feels very consistent of the training he's been receiving. With that said, everything's in order. I recommend that his renewal license be approved.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Commissioners, thoughts or questions about Mr. Davis's application?
Yeah, what was your last fight and what was the outcome? You're on mute, sir.
My last fight was in August last year. It was a unanimous decision. It was a win, and I feel great. Feel great. Last time I did, like 50 rounds sparring. This one here, I done like 25. So I feel great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Commissioner Pennington, thoughts, questions for Mr. Davis?
Mr. Chairman, am I back with you?
You are. In
Great.
fact, I'll go back to the roll call. Please tell us how you got here and how you're joining us for the roll call.
I'm joining you by telephone. Somehow I got muted.
Great. We've got you back now, and would love to hear your thoughts about Mr. Davis's application.
Mr. Chairman, I did hear Mr. Estrada's not explanation, but discussion of Mr. Davis and his training regimen, and I have no questions.
Neither do I. The chair would be open to a motion if there is one.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant Chad Davis a 2022 professional boxing athlete license pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604, being a fighter over age 36. And this would be a renewal.
Yes, this is a renewal license.
Yes, I second that motion.
Very good. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Commissioner
Motion carries unanimously. Yes.
Commissioner Feinstein, do you have a copy of the agenda, or do you want me to make the motions?
Yeah, if you could make the motions, that would be great. I can't open the attachment.
Very good. I'll be happy to do that. Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and we have all approved that, 3-0. Mr. Davis, congratulations. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Can I log off?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Item B2. Item B2 is pursuant to ARS Sections 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. The new license application submitted by Mr. John Amado for a 2022 professional boxing athlete license. Mr. Estrada.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, for Mr. Amado, it's going to be probably a recommendation, a conditional pending. I guess I can't disclose some of what revealed, but I'll go ahead and give you the rundown. I did communicate with Mr. Amado. His record is going to be 0-0. He's kind of debuted at 36. His current weight is 148 pounds. His fight weight is 142. I did evaluate Mr. Amado. Mr. Amado looks like a natural, very good fighter, very good composed. I didn't see nothing that would raise the record.
Mr. Estrada, I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you because the background noise.
I think that's there it is.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
So, I mean, his training regimen obviously consists of, he jogs 8 to 12 miles a day. He does basic training, exercises, sparring, does pretty much everything. Like I said, Mr. Amado looked great for not having any professional fights. None of that. His skills raised the red flag. When asked about how he felt about his upcoming bout, he said he's been at it. He feels consistently good. However, there are some items that I feel concerned with, but that I would want to still do the recommendation that you guys approve contingent of me receiving clearance of a document that's pending. It's more, I guess I can't disclose it due to HIPAA violations, so you guys would understand. But with that, I would recommend that it gets approved contingent of me receiving a clearance of that item that's pending.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Commissioners, any thoughts or questions? Or motions with contingencies in them?
Mr. Chairman, I heard Mr. Estrada's comments regarding Mr. Amado. I have no questions.
Neither do I, Commissioner Feinstein.
No, I mean, I guess the question is, are we going to table this issue until we get the appropriate medical clearances?
Question. Mr. Estrada, is there an event that Mr. Amado is attempting to be licensed for?
Like if we can mute the, okay, there we go. So pending on that, I mean, we can contingently approve, and I can assure you that I will not approve this fighter to fight unless I get proper clearance. I mean, if we can do it contingent upon receiving and you guys reviewing. What the fighter elaborated, he works he works on the side, so it was hard enough for him to be on this meeting to begin with. So that's why my recommendation would be contingent upon receiving those documents. And again, if you guys wish to see that document once I receive it to make sure that you guys are okay with it, I can do that.
Okay, my question, I guess, Mr. Estrada, is there a reason to hurry on this? Is there an event that Mr. Amado is trying to get licensed for?
So his event was for Friday. Obviously, he can't make it. And again, his concern is if this doesn't get approved, obviously he would have to make another meeting or make the next meeting, which is going to hurt him financially, him taking the time off to be able to attend a meeting.
Okay, fair enough. And your recommendation is to approve contingent upon
receiving a proper clearance of that document that's pending.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Estrada. The chair would be open to a motion if there is such a thing.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant a contingent new license application for Mr. John Amado, pending the executive director getting the document that he needs to complete the packet. And this would be pursuant to ARS 2-5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604, since he's a fighter over age 36.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Commissioner Feinstein has seconded it. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. And a nay. The motion carries 2-1. Commissioner Pennington, we are picking up some background noise, I think, probably from your phone. If you could kind of chime in and out, it would be helpful.
Okay.
That's much better, if that's what you did. Thank you so much. Let's continue on. Item B3 is pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. The new license application is submitted by Mr. Cristian Palma for a 2022 professional boxing athlete's license. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to Mr. Palma's application, please?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Palma is currently 31, 11, and 2. His current weight is 139 pounds. He is looking to fight at 135 pounds. His training regimen consists of running 2 to 3 times a day. He trains at the gym on a regular basis. He says he feels physically strong with very good conditioning. And he's looking to fight a couple more fights before he calls it, before he hangs up the gloves, but he still feels that he has a 100% stamina and skills to be able to perform at the professional level. With him, everything's in order. I would recommend that his license be approved. Again, the problem with him, he sent me medicals from different states, which he managed to get his blood, his physical, everything in. Everything looks clear. However, it's still pending, contingent of receiving AG. So I would recommend that his license be approved, contingent of receiving that EKG.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Commissioners, thoughts, questions about this application?
No questions for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Pennington.
Mr. Chairman, I have no questions.
Okay.
I have tried to move to a quieter location.
The chair would be open to a motion if there is one.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant a new license application to Cristian Palma for a 2022 boxing athlete license pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604, being a person over age 36.
Thank you, Commissioner. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mr. Palma. Let's get that EKG in and get this thing done. Item 4 is pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604 for persons over the age of 36. The new license application submitted by Mr. Eduardo Rafael Peralta for a 2022 professional boxing athlete's license. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to Mr. Peralta's application, please?
Yes, sir. Like Mr. Palma earlier, I don't know if there's a problem with them scheduling EKGs, but he's also pending an EKG, so I'll get that out the way. His record's 0-0-0. His current weight's 140 pounds. Fight weight's 135 pounds. He did get evaluated. Normally, so you guys know, when I evaluate fighters, if they're going to fight 4 rounds, I make them give me 6. If they can't complete 6 rounds at a successful where they can defend themselves and they can fight, I do not issue this recommendation. However, Mr. Peralta was able to do that, and I had referee evaluate him, which he was very impressed on the skill level that Mr. Peralta revealed. His training regimen consists of sparring, conditioning, body weight exercises. He runs. He was scheduled to fight this past weekend for Del Sol Boxing. Unfortunately, because he was over 35, I did not allow over 36. He was not allowed to fight, but he is looking sometime in April. I have been communicating with Mr. Peralta. His EKG is scheduled for March 5th. With that, I recommend that his license be approved contingent on me receiving a successful or a clear EKG.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Commissioners, thoughts about Mr. Peralta?
Mr. Chairman, I heard Mr. Estrada's explanation of Mr. Peralta and his observation of the sparring, and I have no questions for Mr. Peralta.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Feinstein?
Yeah, I just my question is why are you taking up professional boxing at this point in your life, and do you have any amateur experience leading up to this?
Yeah, I actually do have amateur experience up in Mexico. I was 8-1. I started this boxing a little bit late in my life. It's just to prove to my children that nothing's too late, and never give up on your goals and your dreams. And it's all up to the top, man. We're just trying to get it through.
Great, thank you. No more questions from me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I too have no further questions. Chair would be open to a motion if we have one.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant a contingent new license application for Mr. Eduardo Peralta, pending the receipt of an EKG for a 2022 professional boxing license pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228, and AAC R19-2-C604, a fighter over age 36.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Mr. Peralta, congratulations. We look forward to your upcoming debut.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, sir.
You do the same. Thank you. Item B5 is pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228A, B, and E, and 5-229, the renewal license application submitted by Mr. Christopher Villarreal, doing business as Thunderbolt Boxing, LLC, for a 2022 promoter's license. Mr. Villarreal, are you with us? Perhaps not. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to this application?
I think Mr. Villarreal's on. His microphone's not working, but I'll be more than glad to talk about his application. Mr. Villarreal's application, no red flags, everything's in order. I'm glad actually to have him back, since I know he's from Nevada. Glad to have that promotion. I know they've been very successful with us here in Arizona, and looking forward to keep doing more work with them. Excited to have them. We're ready for whatever they bring. With that, I recommend is promoter's license be.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Commissioners, thoughts, questions about Mr. Villarreal's application?
Yes, I was just wondering if is there a planned event, or is this just something that's forward-looking?
At this point, it's something that's forward-looking.
Thank you.
I have no further questions. It sounds potentially like no one else does either. If there's a motion, the chair would be open to it.
Mr. Chairman, I move that pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228 A-B-E, and 5-229, that we grant a renewal license application for Christopher Varela doing business as Thunderbolt Boxing LLC for a 2022 promoter's license.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Congratulations, Mr. Villarreal. We look forward to your upcoming events. Item 6, again, is pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228 A, B, and E, and 5-229, the renewal license application submitted by Mr. Thomas Brown doing business as TGB Promotions LLC for a 2022 promoter's license. Mr. Estrada, do you know if anyone from TGB is with us?
I believe Mr. Tom Brown is on.
Hello, I'm here.
Good morning, Mr. Brown.
Good
I
morning.
apologize for our phone connection. It's not the best thing, but it's the best thing right now. I'm looking forward to the day we can actually have meetings and shake hands and look people in the eye, but that's yet to come. It's great to have you.
Thank you very much.
Your event in November, from our perspective, went very well. We really enjoy your people and the professionalism that you put things on with, and we're really excited to have you back.
I appreciate that very much. It was a tremendous event down at the Footprint Center.
It's a good fight town. You'll find that as time goes by.
I used to be there many times back in the old days.
Terrific. Well, we got to do that again. We got to keep you busy. That's the plan, anyway. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to Mr. Brown's application, please?
Yes, sir. For Mr. Brown's, everything's in order. No red flags. All his application is in. I believe he does have a event coming up here. That's why we need to get him approved. With that said, I have never had any issues with Mr. Brown's or Brown's promotion. With that, I would recommend that his license be approved. Excited to have him back.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Thank you. Commissioners, thoughts or questions for Mr. Brown?
No questions from me, Mr. Chairman.
No questions for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. Chair be open to a motion, should there be one.
Mr. Chairman, I move that pursuant to ARS 5-227, 5-228, A-B-E, and 5-229, that we grant Mr. Thomas Brown doing business as TGB Promotions a 2022 promoter's renewal license, a renewal license for the promoter, 2022.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Congratulations, Mr. Brown. Looking forward to May 21st. We'll talk about that shortly. But anything we can do to help, let us know, please.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Looking forward to May 21.
Yep, as are we. Take care now. Let's press on to B7. Pursuant to ARS sections 5-227, 5-228 A, B, and E, and 5-229, the new license application submitted by Mr. Roland Sarria, doing business as Mochi LLC for a 2022 promoter's license. Mr. Estrada, will you speak to Mr. Sarria's application, please?
I can. So Mr. Sarria's application, again, no red flags there. Everything came back clear, with the exception of those items that we're aware of, or commission's aware of. I have Mr. Roland Sarria here. I would want to do a recommendation before I pass on, let you guys on your discussion. I would recommend that we conditionally approve Mr. Sarria's application, promoter's license application, and that would be conditionally approved, meaning that if Mr. Sarria does go a different route that does not comply with the Arizona Boxing and MMA Commission rules and regulations, that we would in fact revoke or deny any future licenses. Again, with that said, I would recommend that his license be conditionally approved. And I'll turn it over to you. I got Mr. Sarria here in person, if you guys wish to speak to him.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. Mr. Sarria, thanks for joining us. Commissioners, thoughts, questions about Mr. Sarria's application?
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Sarria. My question would be just given the dealings that you've had in the state and with the commission in the past, what is it that you intend to do differently this time around?
Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize for the hiccup of the past. I learned, I'm ready to move forward with good faith. I've done 6 events in the last 6 months with the USMTA under Mr. Bob Kermel that's been extremely successful. I'm excited to have the opportunity to get back into promoting not just MMA, probably looking at doing other kind of events according to the what we're able to do. I had a chance to reflect and think over the last few years. I've grown up quite a bit, and I'm excited to hopefully get back in the game of promoting MMA and other events. And I think I have a lot to bring to the plate in terms of success, according to my record in the past. That's pretty much it.
No further questions.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Pennington, any thoughts or questions about this application?
Yes, Mr. Sarria, you indicated that you were looking to do other than the MMA events. Would you please elucidate what those are?
Well, I'm currently doing Muay Thai shows and kickboxing shows. Boxing is something that I'm thinking about doing eventually. But for starters, MMA, as you all know, that's really my specialty. But I'm kind of leaving the door open a little bit for boxing in the future. But for now, it's going to be just MMA and Muay Thai events.
Thank you, Mr. Sarria. Roland, Mr. Sarria, we've had a shared history for many years now, and your hiccup is an interesting hiccup. I just have some concerns about the hiccup and it happening again. Can you kind of tell me, okay, you're talking about MMA events and possible Muay Thai events. If this comes to pass, what is your plan going forward?
Well, like I said earlier, I've just completed 6 Muay Thai shows under Bob Kermel, under the USMTA. I can assure you that the past is the past. I've learned from it. I've grown up. I apologize, like I said earlier. I'm going to be working side to side with Mr. Estrada, and I can assure you that that hookup will never happen again.
Thank you, Mr. Sarria. Commissioners, other thoughts, questions?
I guess my question is for Mr. Estrada, as we've never, at least in my tenure, approved a conditional application, and how would that be different than if there were some violation of the rule set or commission policies to revoke a license? How would it be any different than granting a full license if we do it conditionally? Is it an easier process to withdraw a license if it's conditional? If you're speaking, we can't hear you, sir.
That would probably be a question for our Attorney General that's online. I personally think that it would probably be easier to revoke a license that way, being conditional. But again, I'll refer it back to Ms. Kalbrenner.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. I think we do need to get some advice. I have not, in my 12 years, seen a conditional license granted. I think Mr. Sarria, if he's granted a license, will know that it'll be revoked if there's any more hiccups, regardless of conditions. But if we are able to issue a conditional license, it would be nice to know. Ms. Kalkbrenner, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. If you'd like to make a motion to go into executive session, we could discuss there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a motion for executive session?
Mr. Chairman, I move we go into executive session.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are headed into executive session. I'll sit tight while Mr. Estrada clears the room and does what needs to be done to get us there.
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Estrada. We are officially back into open meeting. Thank you all for staying by and letting us get things sorted out. We're on item B7, which is the new license application submitted by Mr. Roland Sarria, doing business as Mochi LLC for a 2022 promoter's license. Mr. Sarria, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioners, are you guys with us?
Yes, sir.
Chairman, I am. Mr. Chairman, I
Okay,
am.
great. Okay, very good. Thank you all for chiming back in. Commissioners, any thoughts or questions for Mr. Sarria while he's with us?
Mr. Chairman, I have no additional questions for Mr. Sarria.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Feinstein, anything at your end?
I have no additional questions.
Okay. Mr. Sarria, just so you know, we're in a position where we feel we need more information. I'm going to ask that we table this B7 until our next meeting. And in that time, hopefully Mr. Estrada can help get the information we need so that we can correctly look at your application.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? You understand where I am?
I'd like to add something to this.
Please.
I was a licensed promoter for 13 years. I've never been revoked. I've never been written up. In 13 years. Yes, I had a hiccup, but don't forget those other 13 years of what I brought to this state in terms of events.
Thank you, Mr. Sarria. I think you're right. You did do some wonderful shows and events at times. That's why we want to give this application everything we have, and we need some time. So I'm going to table B7. Mr. Estrada, you please make sure it's part of our next meeting, and we will go from there.
Yes, sir. Will do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Let's press on. B8 is a correction of a statement made by Chairman Fletcher at the January 26, 2022 regular meeting of the Boxing and Mixed Martial Arts Commission regarding action items B7 and B8 on that meeting's agenda. I have a statement that I would like to share with everybody, and that is this. At the January 26, 2022 Commission meeting, while addressing items B7 and 8 on the agenda, I inadvertently made a statement that the Attorney General's office had confirmed the Commission was within its rights to approve both outside sanctioning bodies. This was not advice or information provided by the Attorney General's office. End of statement. Questions, thoughts about this portion of the agenda? Very well. Ms. Kalkbrenner, are you with us?
I am, sir.
Very good. Any thoughts you'd like to add?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Let's keep pushing forward. C is our information report. C1, our event reports. The following events are paid and approved by the Executive Director from January 26, 2022 to February 22nd, 2022 with the approval of a new or renewal approval of 2022 promoter's license. First item was a request from TGB Promotions, LLC, for approval of a boxing event to be held at Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona on May 21st, 2022. Mr. Estrada, all systems go for May 21st?
All systems are go. We're excited to have them back in Arizona.
Great. Commissioners, any thoughts about our event reports?
None from me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. There being none, let's jump in. I'm sorry, Commissioner Pennington.
I had no comments. Thank you.
Okay, okay. D is our call to the public. Mr. Estrada, do we have anyone who'd like to chat with us?
I do not see any raised hands, so I think we can press on.
Okay. That would take us to E, the call to the commission. Commission members or the executive director may introduce a summary of current events, ask questions, and or make comments. Mr. Estrada, commissioners, thoughts, questions?
Yes, sir. I have a few items that I want to make the commission aware of. March 7th, we have a new executive director coming in and beginning the process of training him. Also want to let the commission, we will be moving locations this Friday. Our new address will be 100 North 15th Avenue, Suite 202, Phoenix, Arizona, 85007. Also, I want to reach out to all the promoters to, just have a little patience with us. We're just going through a moving transition here. Again, we're training new employees. You can just be a little patient with us. I'll get to you as soon as I can. Also, we will be posting out for the assistant position here shortly in hopes that we can get 2 positions filled permanently. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada. And I mean, thank you, Mr. Estrada, for all you've done for us. I hate to see you go. I'd love to know more about who's coming in. But thank you and Norma for everything you've done. You've done just a great job in keeping the ship afloat and furthering what we're doing.
Yeah, I would also like to comment on Mr. Estrada and Norma. Both of you have done an outstanding job keeping the commission and all the events running. So really can't give you enough thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Indeed.
And Mr. Chairman, I wholly concur with your thoughts and comments and Commissioner Feinstein. Juan and Norma have been just absolutely wonderful. Norma and I go back for many, many years, and she has just been invaluable to this commission over that period of time. So I want to thank her personally because of all the years that we have worked together. And of course, Mr. Estrada has done an excellent job as well.
Indeed. Thank you, Commissioner, both of you. I did want to say one thing. A few weeks ago, we had an important boxing event. We had there are some belts on the line, world championship on the line. And unfortunately, Mr. Estrada and Ms. Rivera were both sick, and we were pretty hamstrung there. Former executive director Matthew Valenzuela jumped into the mix and helped out, as did Caitlin Caputo, who is general counsel for the Department of Gaming. And I just want to thank her for her incredible work on this thing. We were in a tough spot, and she just did a seamless job for us on that night. Other than that, I have nothing else. Commissioners, any questions or?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I understand that there is legislation moving through the House and maybe into the Senate that will consolidate gaming, racing, and boxing all under one authority with 6 appointed members or commissioners. I would like to have a full briefing of that at our next commission meeting.
That would be a nice thing to see. Mr. Estrada, is that possible to sort out?
Yes, sir. I'll make sure that we have the appropriate individuals that can give us the current information.
Mr. Estrada, thank you for setting that up. I appreciate it. Mr. Chairman, I have no other questions.
Mr. Chairman, you're muted.
Okay, how about now? How am I now? Sorry about that.
Can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. What I was saying, Mr. Estrada, can you just send an email out with our new address so we know where to find everybody?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Anything else for our call of the commission? Commissioners, director? There being none, let's press on to F, an announcement that the next regularly scheduled commission meeting will be at 11 a.m. on Wednesday, March 16th, 2022, and is subject to change based on a quorum, which presents the possibility of adjournment if there is a motion for such.
Mr. Chairman, I move we adjourn.
And I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries 3-0. We are officially adjourned. Thank you all for your time. Ms. Kalkbrenner, thank you for joining us. It was most helpful. You all take care now.